One of the things that I know about the human brain is that the more specific you and I are, the faster another part of the brain can actually go to work on how can I achieve that goal. I thought we'd talk about how to reverse engineer your business. All right. So when we're talking about reverse engineering your business, have you ever considered working backwards from the goals that you have? When I was younger, I was taught to set the vision for what I wanted and then set some goals on the way to that vision and then develop the strategies and the tactics to achieve the goals. Does that make sense? So I want to know, do you have a business? What business do you have? And would you agree, and this is a loaded question, would you agree that regardless of the goal that you want to achieve, somebody knows how to achieve it? Regardless of the goal that you want to achieve, doesn't somebody know how to achieve it? And if the answer is yes, somebody knows how to achieve it, then wouldn't it just be as simple as learning how to and then implementing? Right? So if the how to exists and we want to reverse engineer your business, can you maybe share a goal with me of what one of your goals is by the end of this year? It could be a financial goal or a non-financial goal. It doesn't matter. So what's one goal that you have? It could be, share a financial goal. Do you want to make $10,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $5,000 a week? I've been able to work with over 10,000 business owners in the last 15 years, teaching them how to build their business just because I was able to learn from my mentors. Here's the one thing that many entrepreneurs get wrong. Pay close attention. They're not specific enough. They're not specific enough. One of the things that's really, really critical is if you have a business goal, right? If you want to make $5,000 or $10,000 or $50,000 a day, a week, or a month, then you have something specific. And as you know, as a behavioral neuroscience researcher, one of the things that I know about the human brain is that the more specific you and I are, the faster another part of the brain can actually go to work on how can I achieve that goal. And so when we are reverse engineering the goal, let me show you something that is really pretty simple. Let's say you wanted to lose 10 pounds of fat, not weight, because a lot of weight is water. But let's say you wanted to lose 10 pounds of fat and you want to keep it off. Is the plan on how to do that available? Right? Is the plan, somebody has a plan of how to do that available. So is the plan on how to? Of course, you can focus on how much and what you eat. Of course, you can focus on calories in, calories out, because after all, food is calories. Of course, you can focus on sleep. Of course, you can focus on hormones, right? Of course, you can focus on stress. Those 5 things, when working in synchronicity, can help you release weight, which I like to call it release weight, and keep it off if you keep those things going, right? So how to is the easiest part of the equation. So what do you think the number 1 and number 2 things are that you must, not should, must have if you are a business owner? Ask yourself this question. Okay, what is the number 1 thing that you need, okay, in every business? I don't care if you're a doctor, a lawyer, a coach, a consultant, an engineer, and you have your own business, okay? What's the number 1 thing? The number 1 thing is you have to have leads to look at your program, product, or service. Would you agree with that? Without leads, a key performance indicator, you don't have sales. Without leads, people to look at your website, people to look at business plans, a waste of time. All right. You have to generate leads, right? So if you have one person a day or one person a week or one person a month or one person a year who looks at your product, program, or service, okay, that is going to determine how many sales you make if you're good in sales, right? So number one is, wouldn't you agree that without leads, your business struggles, your business doesn't have consistent cash flow, your business doesn't have revenue, your business doesn't have profits? Without leads is the starting point, right? So Stinson speaks leads, then comes sales. Now, do we want just any type of leads? Because you can get a lot of leads, but they are the wrong leads, right? You can get a lot of leads, but they could be the wrong leads, right? So let's magnify that a little bit by narrowing it a little bit. Let me explain what that means. Magnifying it by narrowing it means we're going to magnify what type of leads we want. We want qualified leads. So in addition to having leads, we must learn how to make sure we have qualified leads. And can we use qualified leads, okay? Or can we create a process to weed out the unqualified leads and to get more qualified leads? Did you notice when I first came on today, okay, if you see the title of today, Reverse Engineer Your Business Success, this wasn't reverse engineer your weight loss success. This wasn't reverse engineer, okay, your relationship success. This wasn't, 7 ways to build a cactus garden. I would have gotten people on, this stream that I'm doing, but I specifically, in how I opened today, I said, how would you like to reverse engineer your business growth and success? So here's my question for you. What are you doing to generate qualified leads? Now, there's hundreds of different ways to do this, right? Hundreds of ways to do that, but you can't focus on 100 different ways to do it. You've got to focus on the 1 or 2 or 3 that are great for you based on your knowledge, your skills, and your financial and non-financial abilities. And Azza, choosing the right leads via Google Ads is one of the strategies. I love it, as long as you know how to create great ads that cost less than shitty ads that cost you more, right? So I want to help you understand something. Would you agree that business is part science and part art? Part science and part art? Hi there, Jaroslava. Part science and part art, right? So the science, let me share something with you. Is there a neuroscience behind getting and maintaining people's attention? Do you think there's a neuroscience, a science of how the brain works to get people's attention, but then keep their attention? Do you think that there is a science to that? Yes. Do you think that it's also part art? There's part art, part creativity, part art. So when you combine the art and the science, specifically the neuroscience, now we have a better chance of getting people's attention. Now, here's a question I want to ask you. Is it true that today it's harder and harder to get people's attention because people are so busy? It's harder and harder to get people's attention because people are online looking at Facebook, at Instagram, at Twitter, at Reels, at YouTube. Is it possible? I mentioned earlier, I've lost track of days. My wife and I, my brother, my sister, my brother-in-law, and one other family member, we've had COVID for the last 5 days. So my sister and I left Montreal, where we were for a family reunion. And my wife and I came up to St. Adele in the country just to be alone. So is it harder today to get people's attention? Of course it is. There's 6,200 thoughts that we have are on our own, 6,200 thoughts we have on our own. And all of the messages and the interruptions that we are getting online and offline. So one of the things we have to get good at is being better than our competitors, people who are offering the similar type of programs, products, or services, right? We have to get better at getting attention first, and then keeping attention long enough for people to determine whether they like you and trust you. Do you think it's important for people to like you and trust you before they buy from you? Now, not every sale does, right? Not every sale requires that, but do people buy from people they like and trust? That's a yes or yes answer. Of course we do. So interrupt, right? We have to get their attention. We have to keep their attention, and we have to create some trust as we qualify to see if there is a need for our program, product, or service. I want to share some of you about selling that I learned 41 years ago. So I'm 60 today. I learned this at 19. Are you ready? Selling is doing something for somebody, not to somebody. Selling is doing something for somebody else, not to them. Before I explain, answer me this question. Do you love to buy things? Like my wife and I, my kids, we love to buy things. Do you love to buy things? Right? Would you like to buy? We love to buy things, right? Right? Selling is doing something for some. So we all love to buy. And is it not true that we all hate being sold when it's not something we really need or want? Isn't it true that we all love to buy, but we all hate being sold something we may not need or want? So here is what you have to ask yourself. Is my marketing and is my selling causing people to move towards me, or move away? Is my marketing and selling causing people to move towards because they want to know more, or is it moving them away because they think they're being sold? When they move away, your website, your ad, your whatever you've said, you have activated the stress or fear or anxiety center in their brain, and that moves them away to protect themselves. But when you've activated the dopamine reward center in their brain, they move towards it because they want more of it. So I'm just going to ask you, if you were to look at your website, if you were to look at your landing pages, if you were to listen to yourself talking to somebody about your program, product, or service, okay, would they be moving towards or moving away because of the circuit that you activated in their brain? Which one? Because if I looked at your website, I could tell in less than 1 second. I can tell in less than 1 second whether you've got language patterns to get people to move towards or move away. All right. If you have people that follow you, it's because they want to move towards you. But if you do things that cause them to move away from you, it's because you've activated the wrong part of their brain. This is why earlier I mentioned, okay, are you applying the latest in neuromarketing and neuro sales to help people, not to sell people? So if you have a program, a product or service, I've worked with coaches, entrepreneurs, consultants, doctors, lawyers, and when you have a program, product or service that people want and need, your job is to create awareness, your job is to create trust and rapport, and your job is to get people to move towards following through to find out more if they are right for your program, product, or service. Does that make sense? If you don't do things in the right way, people will walk away. People will go to your competition. You might do a presentation and people won't buy. Yes, they did. Every time you do a presentation, every time people come to your website and stay or leave, every time you ask somebody, do you want to buy my program, my product or service? Every time, pay attention. A sale is made. You either have sold them on not following through, or you have sold them on following through and possibly working with you. Does that make sense? A sale is always made. You may just need to upgrade your marketing skills and your selling skills by learning how to communicate online and offline better. Would you agree with that? Hey, this is John, and if you liked that video, watch the next video because it is packed with things that you can do right now to achieve success way faster than ever before.